Ron does. I built boats for myself, for me to sail.
You're like my dad's fishing boats.
Yeah.
My dad was always making plywood fishing boats in the garage back in Jackson, Michigan, and every now and then he decided he needed a smaller or a bigger boat, so he'd take out all of those brass screws one by one and start over with the same. I think he used the same brass screws for 25 years, something like that. And they weren't fancy, but it sure was fun. It was fun to do. We have a wonderful video of an old film taken back in the early 40s I want to run now. Let's watch that together. What kind of boats are those?
Those are E-boats.
Okay.
Yeah, the only restriction on that boat was that it couldn't have more than 75 square feet of sail. That didn't include the roach, so you'll see some generous roaches on the sail.
I see. Howard Boston, a legendary name in this area.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about Howard more in a moment. And notice the hat as opposed to the hard helmets that Griffin and Ron are wearing. Here's Skip Boston. Skip was a sailmaker here, a wonderful man, died not too long ago. And this is Skip when he was known as Skippy back in the 40s. Isn't that cute? And one of his sisters, she's gonna demonstrate for us.
I think that may have been Martha.
They're wonderful pictures. So, truth be known, ice boating's been on our lake for a long, long time. And here's Avenger. Give you an idea of the speed of these boats. That's Howard Boston again. And I love these pictures. This is when the season is ending. The rest of us are getting ready to paint the bottoms of our summer boats.
The ice got pushed down in this area, so some water gathered on the ice, and can't say ice boaters are crazy, even back then.
You can't?
Well, I think you could.
And they were just racing through the water, just having fun.
You go fast enough, the water will hold an ice boat up.
I imagine.
If you're going fast enough. I've heard of people who have gone across open water, a crack developed, they didn't know it was there, and they were going fast enough that they kept on top of the water and went all the way across the other side.
Right over just,
yeah, sometimes a skate goes down and they hang a skate, and it gets to be a little expensive to repair, but
I would imagine.
but they're dry.
Now when you race these boats, Ron, I'll ask you, when you race these boats, you change the skates or the runners depending on the ice conditions?
Well, the Renegade and the Skeeters, they pretty much sail the same runners. They once you start, you have to stay with the same runners for regatta. The DNs, you're allowed 9 different runners during the course of a continental event, Worlds, North Americans, European Championships. And there's T runners and angle runners and insert runners and plate runners, and I mean, I'll bring 15 sets of runners to World Championships, and then you end up taking a lot of them out on the ice with you, and then choose the ones that you're going to race with, and you put your stickers on them to mark them.
So tell me, just in general, are the differences length?
Yep.
Flexibility, what are the differences?
Length and thickness.
Okay.
Thickness for, with a thinner runner to get through the snow, and thicker runners, angle runners will hold you up on top of slush. And if it's, really hard ice and fast conditions, then you want a real, long and straight, very hard runner to, hold the edge a long time.
Now, are these stainless steel?
The runners that I build are almost all 440C stainless, which has 1% carbon in it, so you can harden it to 65 Rockwell if you want, which is really hard. I've been trying to get the Red Wings to let me build their skates for them, because you could, with this steel, you could go right over pennies on the ice and you would never nick the runner. They could walk from the parking lot into the ice and not have nicks on their runners and on their skates and be able to.
Do you sharpen these runners?
Yeah,
like
with
you
a
do
real
ice
long
skates?
belt sander.
Like you do ice skates?
Yep.
But I would take it with the high-tech materials you're talking about, you wouldn't have to do that as often.
That's the idea. The stainless is much more durable, and it's also doesn't rust.
You might mention the angle of sharpening them and how sharp they have to be.
They come. The runners are actually at a 90-degree edge. They're not sharpened like a hockey skate, which has a hollow.
Yeah.
And
so they're more like a knife.
Yes.
Rather than like this.
Right.
Yeah.
And they use this is the same steel that they use in bobsledding, same steel that they use for making scalpels for the operating room and surgery, and it's a really good steel. So.
the skate is so sharp that if you lay your nail on it just lightly and pull it across, you'll skin the skin off your nail.
It'll score it.
It's that the skate's that sharp. It has to be that sharp if
Now,
you want
Lauren,
to do well.
You've given up ice boating.
Yeah, I have.
You're still
given up
I've
racing.
outgrown it. I've outgrown it.
But you're still racing on.
It's a extreme exercise sport to do it at the level that I was doing, and I just don't have enough to. I get tired putting the boat together, and that's the wrong thing.
I guess that's right. I guess that's right. I bet you're still around to coach Ron and Griffin.
Oh, Ron has gone beyond me. Ron has graduated, and I don't have to tell him a thing.
Well, you know, you and I are both fathers of adult children, and that's a good thing.
Yes.
That's a good thing. Griffin, you're going to go back. You're not going to give up this sport right away, are you?
No.
Do you have some other events scheduled for this winter, local or out-of-town events?
I think we do, don't we?
We're going to have the Central Lakes Ice Opti Championship the second weekend in February is our plan.
And where is that?
Wherever the ice is.
Whatever good ice is. Let's hope it's black ice, too.
Let's hope it's black ice and you have pretty good winds, huh?
Mm-hmm.
When do you have to quit sailing when the wind gets how high?
Oh, it depends on the conditions, but 25 or 30 gets pretty dicey out there.
That'd be scary,
Just like about the same as summertime.
is it?
Yep.
Oh, yes, but one year I had 5 renegades out sailing on the ice, bare stick. And my thrill, and one of my thrills in my life was to go into a hike, bare stick, if you can imagine that. You just got the mast up, and the wind's blowing hard enough, and I'm sailing upwind and downwind, and I wanted to have a race in the worst way. I couldn't talk the guys into having a bare stick regatta.
By bare stick, just for those who don't sail, that means a sailboat or an ice boat with no sail at all.
No sail at
Just
all.
the mast
No, just the mast sticking up.
is
The
catching
mast is wide enough. It's about
Sure.
6 to 8 inches wide, and that's enough to make a sail itself when they have that kind of winds, when it's blowing 35, 40 miles an hour. Yeah. That was
Right.
real fun.
You have to protect yourself against, I noticed you in your pictures, Griffin. Now, you had a helmet on to protect your head.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty warm clothes. You must have to cover your face, too, don't you? You don't want any skin exposed.
Yeah, most of the time you would wear goggles over your eyes. They're tinged, I think,
Tinted, yep.
Tinted,
with
yeah.
certain colors. And you wear those over your eyes, so when you are going really fast, the ice can get picked up from the runners, like thrown off
Right.
the ice. So from the front runner, they can go off the side, scratch your boat, and get into your eyes. So you wear goggles when you're going fast, and a helmet for when you capsize. The boat tips over, so
You land on the ice on your
Yeah,
head,
ice
and the
and-
ice is hard,
yeah.
and so's your head, and bang.
and maybe the ice could snap if the ice is thin enough.
Yeah.
Really
Griffin, thank you very much for coming to the television show today.
You're welcome.
We'll have to get you back. Good luck to you.
Thanks.
Ron, thanks for everything you do for this sport. There's some website addresses that people can try if they're interested. They can find you in Clinton Township. And Lauren, it's always good to see you. Thanks so much for
My
coming.
pleasure.
Thank
sir.
you all. Good sailing. We'll see you next time on Great Lakes Law.